Hey guys, we're back with the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles. Last time we just about finished up with the first case. Only have a little more to go. And like, we still haven't really answered what was up with Giselle Brett, which is the big thing, right? Like, why was she at the beach? Why did she even kill Wilson in the first place? I'm wondering, are we gonna get the answer to that? Like, there's really two things that could have happened, right? A, this guy killed Giselle Brett and ruined her plans. Or B, she planned to die there, working with Mini Momo, like to kind of pin it on Ray to get her out of the picture, because she was like Wilson's like disciple, right? We'll see. Not so busy here. Complete innocence. This is first time giving it? Oh yes, I stabbed the English woman. Okay, cuff it, boys. It's that very fact that proves I'm innocent. Because why would I bother to stab the woman if I'd already poisoned her? That is a good point. When I heard that student girl and that pompous English murderer arguing, got my goat. I guess he stabbed her to make it look like Ray, but that just convolutes it, like, because they still would have suspected Ray, just it wouldn't have been so, no, 100%. The courts were gonna punish Brett for what she did. Someone else would have to see justice done. Wait, so he just straight up confessed? So, you admitted then? That everything happened as I described? That you are the one who stabbed Miss Brett in the back through the greed screen? You can blame this miserable country of ours. I did not think it would be starting like this. Country that bows to the pressure of foreign powers and lets murderers walk free. What kind of future can a country like that have? That's why I did it. I did what our pathetic leaders didn't have the guts to do. Slap bang in the middle of that charming lady's back. Plunge the blade of sweet justice right in there. Someone who spends his life seeing that the truth is told. Of course, there's a siren right outside, right as I start recording. Feel really awful about giving false information in my testimony before. I swear, like ever since I've opened up my window, I had to put an air conditioning unit in there, right? Ever since I opened it back up, traffic is only loud when I press the record button. All the rest of the time, it's like, oh yeah, it isn't even there. Anyway, felt really awful about giving false information in my testimony before. But as it turns out, there was somebody else who had it in for the victim, got to her before me. That's right, you guessed it. That pretty little student girl. Now there's a woman after my own heart. You're implicating Ray again. She's the one who gave the poison to the English woman and ended her pitiful existence. And suddenly, snap, this journal here is off the hook. And he still stabbed her. The argument is sound, certainly. If the witness had administered the poison himself, he needed only wait for it to take effect. Subsequently, stabbing the victim in the back would have been entirely nonsensical. And therefore, this reporter had nothing to do with the poisoning. Yes, it's all quite logical. Okay, that does, like... he's got a point. But like, obviously, the pen had poison in it. That's gonna be like a big thing. But why stab her then? Like, did they have to make it look like Ray did it? That's the only thing it could be, like... Ray would still be suspected, but not like, yeah. That's right, it is. Logical and true. Glad you've all seen the light. Justice at last. This is unbelievable. After I made so much progress in proving his guilt, gonna get away with it now? Yeah, slap your face. Yeah, that'll do it. Think of Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san. They never stopped looking for a way forward until the judge's final gavel. Oh, there's the final gavel. Very well then, counsel. Proceed with what I assume to be your final cross-examination in this trial. Oh, is it actually? Yes, Your Excellency. Okay, I think I have to press something. There's only 4 lines. What's Natsume doing here? I want to hold on. I want to look at the evidence real quick about the poison article. Smallest amounts would prove fatal in minutes. Current methods can't detect. Onset of symptoms occurs in minutes. Starting, yeah. New synthesis of alkaloids. Okay, I don't see anything in there. Press. Wait, hold on. I did want to look at. Can we examine this? Oh, we already have. Anything special? Oh, okay. You maintain you didn't give the poison to the victim? Obviously, that'd be like putting a belt under your trousers when you're already wearing braces like these. Oh, so you mean suspenders? Do they call them braces? The accused administered the poison, following which the witness stabbed the victim. An unforgivable act, certainly, but not one of murder. That crime rests on the. I mean, I would say stabbing someone right before they die counts as murder. Who knows? You may even learn something here today. With the intent to murder, like. Bare minimum, they should both be, you know, tried for murder. 2 attempts on her life in the space of minutes. Quite a day for the victim. Do something that evil and you've got it coming. That's how the law works. The law of reckoning. No, they can't allow this court upholds. We'll reiterate why you're compelled to stab the victim. What were they arguing about? Yeah. About what happened at the restaurant. She's laying into the, yeah, but Dr. Wilson. John H. Wilson. The English woman just jeered. Gonna be tried in Shanghai? We're gonna quit and sent back to her homeland a free woman. Leading that student girl up inside. It really felt for her. Oh? Right? Yeah. I can't stand here and listen to this tripe. Hey! Young girl, you stand accused here. You can't just blurt out whenever you feel like it. No, you can't. Sorry, I'm in the middle of some very important testimony here. Just keep quiet and listen. But this is awful, man. It's making all of this up. Susato, please. Oh, who's Susato? I've never heard of this person. You have to make them listen. Turn to the docket once, Mimbani-san. In the middle of cross-examination. Hey, can we call her to the stand? Yeah. Your Excellency, please, I implore you. That journalist is clearly not a trustworthy witness. Exactly. The filthy, rotten, black-hearted, bigoted, dirty, great peeping Tom. Whoa. Take it easy there. That's a lot of adjectives. Please, really think the court should hear what the defendant has to say. Your Excellency, see no need whatsoever to entertain the accused's remarks. I'll grant the request of the defense. Let's go! Based judge is based. But Your Excellency! This is likely to be the final cross-examination of these proceedings. As such, I believe it would be ill-advised to stifle the defendant's obvious concerns. So, also recognizing that this contravenes regular protocol, hereby call upon the defendant to speak. Contravene? So obviously like contra, like contradict. Okay, I've heard the word contravenes before, but have I? Maybe I haven't. Violate the prohibition of order or a law. Okay, so it's like a law word. Oh! Thank you so much, Your Excellency. Nothing to do with Dr. Wilson. We were discussing the stolen poison. And is that... Okay.
Hold it!
Stolen poison that killed the victim, you mean? Suspected her of being the one to steal it. I mean, just think about how she killed Dr. Wilson. That's true. Additionally, Miss Brett certainly had knowledge of the new poison. Surely it would be no easy task to steal a highly secret toxin being developed for the government. Indeed. All visitors to the laboratory thoroughly searched when they leave. But you wouldn't search like a pen, for example. Even if I think managed to avoid being seen by myself or a colleague, getting the poison out would be very difficult. That's true. I pestered Professor Mikotoba until he agreed to show me the poison when I visited his laboratory. As I left, I searched from top to tail. Miss Brett rather bluntly revealed the existence of the toxin we've been developing, you see? Since Soseki-san expressed such an interest in it, I felt unable to refuse. Obviously, I gave nothing away, other than the fact that it was an extremely potent substance. I'm very ashamed of myself. It's just that I had a singularly terrible experience with the deadly poison. What's it? What was the poison in? The case. I don't remember poison in case 4. Okay. I want to look my old enemy in the eye. Surely you can understand that. To find out if my suspicions are true, I confronted Miss Brett about the poison. Told her that if there were to be an incident involving it somehow, it wouldn't just be the university. The military would be dragged into it. The whole government even. It would be a complete disaster. How did Miss Brett respond to your concerns? She just curled those beautiful lips of hers, said she didn't know the first thing about it. In English, actually. In cursive? Yes. Oh, hold on. Let me check OBS. Yep. Benny Momo-san, one small question, if you don't mind. I do mind. Can't you see I'm busy? Clearly you're outside the beach hut listening in whilst the defendant and Miss Brett were conversing. Does he not know English? Presumably then, it was you who wrote the article about what you'd heard. Oh! Exclusive. Deadly poison stolen from Yumei Medical Research Laboratory. Story was published in this morning's edition of HorseyEatYou News, and they have a lot of detail about it. The details are too accurate for it to have been written by anyone else. Sorry, don't know what you're talking about. He's sweating. Yes, look at this. The entire article is almost what I said to Miss Brett, word for word. Ah! Well, Benny Momo-san? As a journal, and as a citizen of a free country, I don't have to reveal my sources. That's a founding principle of Benny Momoism. Father's clearly right about this. That reporter did write that article. He based it on what he overheard from outside the hut. Details of the poison article have been updated, based on information he gleaned by eavesdropping. That's what it was all about. Hold on, I want to reread the article with that in mind. Following a lecture, a very disturbing incident took place. Secretly developed in the university's forensic laboratory was stolen. So what if there was something they didn't mention about the poison? That could be relevant. Okay. Yeah, ask Ray about it. That's what it was all about. You're trying to cover up the fact that you're listening in. But you came up with that stinking story about me arguing with her. Shut up! My stories never stink! Look, whatever you say, little girl, doesn't alter the facts. Your Excellency, something I want to say, I wanted to go on record. Very well. You may amend your formal testimony. He's breathing heavy now. We got him. Hook, line, sinker. Point is, if you poison someone, there'd be no reason to go then stab the person as well. I don't feel like we can present this at that? Wait. Yeah, he would have heard it before the stabbing, obviously. So, enter the hunt, poisoned her, went around back, eavesdropped, and stabbed her. That timeline works, but like, why would he stab her? Well, I mean, they would have, if they were poisoned, they would have consulted the university and found the poison. Could have been trying to avoid that. I feel like we're not ready to present this. Let's press. As you doubted the efficacy of the poison, sought to make sure your victim would die. It's horse tongue. Hey, stop bringing that up. What? I'd be pouring pepper on your Chinese ramen before you even tasted it. Completely reckless. Although, might surprise you to learn that I'm a bit of an impetuous pepper pourrier, as it happens. If the victim had taken the poison, she would have only been minutes away from death. Yet, this man then was she about to say something? Must have been a good reason for that. So the reporter who gave the poison to Miss Brett, then clearly must have done it prior to Ray entering the hut. That's undeniable. Oh, hold on. But between him leaving the hut and the victim being stabbed, there's a very crucial change in the situation. What change? He overheard the conversation between Ray and the Englishwoman. Yes, that's it. When Many Momo-san first found the exact nature of the poison he'd used. Give me the key here. Is it the reagent then? Reagent? However you say it? The chemical thingy?
Objection!
No, not quite. Is it the poison article then? Or am I missing something here?
Objection!
Okay, yeah, poison article. I mean, it makes sense that the updated piece of information would be the one you present, but, well, I can think of one reason. What? What? Before I explain, I'd like to confirm something for the court. Did you glean all the information for this newspaper article from what you overheard outside the hut? Of course he did! There could be no question of that. After all, when we were all at the laboratory together, all we were told is that it was a terrible toxin. There's one more important fact to consider. According to the witness, Membani's verbal attack hits the victim again as soon as she entered the hut. In other words, it would have been impossible for her to have slipped the poison into Miss Brett's drink.
Objection!
Where are you going with this, counsel? Many Momo-san has made it very clear that he observed every single thing that happened on the beach. Try saying that 10 times fast. If the defendant had somehow found an opportunity, this man would have seen it. Ah! You should have said that. You should have said, oh yeah, I saw her poison her. It would mean that Miss Brett wouldn't have been imbibed with poison while the defendant was present. In fact, it must have been administered to her before Membani-san entered the hut. Yes, very articulately put. When I walked into the hut, I immediately started to press Miss Brett about the poison. At which point, Memimono-san overheard some worrying information. Worrying information? What worrying information? The information which he subsequently included in his newspaper article. Namely, the poison was being developed in strict secrecy, that it couldn't be readily obtained. Absolutely. In fact, it's quite an understatement. The only possible place it could have come from is my lab. And if they tested her for poison, and they didn't find anything, through traditional means, they'd eventually test it for the missing poison. In which case, they'd find that, and the only people who could get that is, there's a very small number of people. Although Ray would have been suspect number 1 still. Furthermore, anyone afflicted by the poison would exhibit telltale signs in death. The extreme constriction of the pupils. It's quite striking when you see it. There are other poisons that show, they've mentioned this several times. They have not shown us her eyes. I would have liked to see it, but not among new substances that are undetectable. In other words, make clear that the victim's life had been ended by the use of this particular poison, which would reduce the number of suspects to only a handful of people. Ah! Everyone in my laboratory is aware of the unique properties of the toxin we're developing. None of them would be foolish enough to attempt to use it for some nefarious deed. Membani-san being no exception. Therefore, we can conclude that whoever administered this unique poison to the victim, why not just grab some cyanide or something and use that? Why use this secret poison? Was a layperson, unaware of its, well, I guess he wasn't planning to stab her. Unaware of its telltale properties. In other words, someone like you, Drayton Many Momo. Yeah! Not a unique breakdown yet. It was you who stole the poison from the laboratory that day, and it was you who administered it to the unwitting victim. But you quickly realized that that was a terrible mistake. The poison caused such unusual symptoms and was so traceable. As he listened in from the far side of the beach hut's thin walls, he learned of these facts. But you'd already given the victim the poison at that point. It was too late. So you hatched a plan to disguise your mistake. A plan that involved stabbing the victim in the back through the reed screen.
Objection!
could that possibly do? Isn't it obvious, Counsel? The plan was to kill Miss Brett before the poison could take effect. Once in the blood, the poison causes the onset of pupil constriction. He had hoped to precipitate the victim's death before that happened, hadn't he? Exactly. Because without any revealing signs of the new secret poison's use, no one would ever have suspected. This is extraordinary. Yes, the effects of the poison meant it would be too easily identified, so the killer had masked its use. So this guy is trying to hide the fact that this poison is used. So of course, the day after the murder, well, the day of the trial, I don't know how long it's been. He's like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna write an article telling everyone about what this poison does. That's a good idea. Which he attempted to do by plunging a knife into the middle of the victim's back. Order! 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 Argument presented is sound. The court is satisfied that it warrants consideration. Does the prosecution have a counter-argument it wishes to put forward? Well, there are a number of, yes! I counter complete. Oh, he's doing the bluffing game. If he was a Phoenix Wright, he could do it. Prosecution's evasive response clearly shows that in much the same way as he nurtures the remnants of his top knot, he's clinging to lost hope. That's too harsh. Lost hope! Hold it? Oh yeah, we haven't even looked at the pen yet. Oh, no, not the head! Ah, you pathetic, useless, fallen samurai. Fallen? Who are you calling fallen? My burgeoning growth is... I don't need a counter-argument. But what are you talking about? Hold on, I gotta cut off on what Ouchie said. It's on their eyes. What are you talking about? Should be blatantly obvious. I stole the poison, you say. Gave it to the victim, you say. Stabbed her, you say. That's a fine theories. And I don't need a counter-argument, because you don't have an argument yourself. Where's your evidence? Yes, you make it all sound so plausible, don't you? But without evidence, it means nothing. Whereas I base my news on facts. Facts? What do you mean? Explain yourself. I mean, what the professor said earlier in this trial. It's all here! My many memos! All. Many memos. Okay. Every word! Every slip of the tongue. All noted. That's what the Show You News is famous for. It's the power of the printed word. This guy would 100% have a podcast in 2025. Surely it would be no easy task to steal a highly secret toxin being developed for the government. Indeed, all visitors to the laboratory thoroughly searched for them. Yeah. We just read this. How's that then? Blowing the story wide open? Let's see. I, writing many memo, a mere reporter from the Show You News, couldn't possibly have stolen that poison from the professor's laboratory. Okay, use the chemical on the pen. Be no question of it. Must have stolen the poison that day. He stole it and used it to kill. If that's the case, as you've identified, the poison itself is the definitive evidence we need. Because whoever stole it from the laboratory that day is the true culprit here. How did Giselle Brett get the pen then? What's your point, you annoyingly handsome country bumpkin? Cesaro awoke something in him. My point is this. There's one way that you, Many Momo-san, however you say it, who cares, could have stolen the poison that day. I've heard enough verbal conjecture now, thank you. What the court must be shown is evidence. What proof do you have that the witness stole the poison? Can we, do we have to, like, use the chemical on the pen, or can we just present it? I just want to make sure. I assume we can just present it. Well, I mean, if I go through all this, yeah, okay, check mark. Could have just presented lost in HP. I assume this is the last check. The proof, Your Excellency, is this fountain pen, which is so obvious that anyone could have predicted this. Could have just used the chemical, you know, an hour ago, saved us all a lot of time. How could that possibly be relevant? These magical pens somehow seem to have enough ink to write many thousands of kanji characters. I believe they arrived in our country for the first time some 15 years ago now. I swear by a weasel. Really? It took that long? So like the Meiji Restoration, well, kind of like kickstarted around 1850. The guy called Matthew Perry showed up. Like, hey, open your country, stop having it be closed. That's a word for word verbatim. Right? And so this takes place in 1900 exactly, right? So it took them like 30 years from that point to get pens? Wait, were fountain pens not invented yet? I don't know. These newfangled pens are merely a fad. Well, as a forward-thinking man of words, obviously I love my fountain pen. Suck up a soup con of sumptuous ink, and one's work is awash with words in the blink of an eye. That's right. Do they not have typewriters yet? Fountain pens have a small reservoir in the barrel, into which ink is sucked up through the nib of the pen in order to write with later. What is all this talking of sucking up ink have? Ah! And just as it's possible to suck ink into the reservoir, it is also possible to eject it through the nib again, of course. My word, can this really be? Well, many memo-san? When you saw the deadly poison before your eyes in the laboratory that day, you used your fountain pen, your very lifeblood, to steal some of it, didn't you? By siphoning the poison up to the nib and into the pen's reservoir. Okay, make Ouchie drink it. More absurdity, that never happened. Which game was it that where you dared the oh it was the third game, wasn't it? Mia dared Pain to like drink the poison or something. Sure, we've heard that there are procedures in place to prevent thefts like this from the laboratory. But would anyone have thought to look inside a fountain pen of all places? No. I'm a little ashamed to say that for fear of offending our guests, such a detailed search would not have been conducted. Well, this is quite startling, I must say. I remind the court that this pen was found in the clutches of the victim when she died. In other words, it was dropped at the scene by many memo-san. He just dropped it carelessly? The crucial question is, when exactly was the pen dropped? Are you suggesting? The natural conclusion is that in your haste to act whilst the victim was distracted for a moment, you dropped the pen after you emptied the poison from it into her glass. There could be any number of alternate explanations. For example, the witness could have been using his pen to write down details of his conversation with the victim. And when struck by one of her outrageous answers, the pen fell from his quivering hand. Objection! No, that can't be. If it was, how do you explain why the pen was devoid of ink? What? As you can see for yourself if you examine the evidence, there would appear to be no ink present in the reservoir. What newspaper reporter goes to interview someone with nothing in his pen? No, the pen was dropped after the poison that filled its reservoir had been emptied into the victim's glass. Witness, what do you have to say in your defense? This is how our modern justice system works, is it? So what if the ink in my pen runs dry? So what if my pencil snaps? Just use the chemical on it. Oh, he's got his adamant claws out. They're not dragon. You can't use the special attack. You can always claw. Oh, my way back into the game. I have plenty in reserve. Ah! I just killed someone. He poked their eye out. You claim I sucked the poison up to my pen. That's wild speculation, nothing more. You thought you could bring down a fine, upstanding citizen with a trick like that? Think again. Looks as though it's going to take one final decisive blow to finish this matter. As I see, the situation is now very simple. Here's about whether or not this witness did indeed steal the poison on the day in question. Therefore, it all depends upon whether or not the defense could prove that he did it with evidence. No such evidence can possibly exist. Many memo-san, this is how our modern justice system works. What? In the courtroom, evidence is everything. Something you would do well to remember. Because we're well past the point of speculation at this stage, I assure you. Very well then. Call upon the defense to present the aforementioned evidence. This is it then? This will be the final piece in the puzzle. Yeah.
Take that!
Counsel, what is this bottle? This bottle contains the unique chemical reagent. It's reagent, right? Reagent? I think it's reagent. It can identify the poison in question. Ah! Yes, that poison is an entirely new synthesis of alkaloids developed by my colleagues and I. It would be impossible to detect traces of it by any other method. Or, from another perspective, simply with this chemical reagent, anybody at all could check for traces of the poison. Reagent? What? One drop of the contents of this bottle on the tip of your fountain pen, Minimomo-san, is all it would take to solve this case beyond any reasonable doubt. What, wasn't there a little liquid left in the pen? You don't even do it on the tip, just, you know, empty the contents. Ah! No, you can't! I won't! How many pencils does he have? Your crimes are bad enough. Please know when to admit defeat. Your Excellency, the defense requests permission to carry out the test on the fountain pen at once. Yeah! Oh, not his camera! This isn't my fault! The Empire drove me to this! Trying to hold its head high as a civilized nation on a foreign dwelling with the mighty pound of the entire sail that the name of justice is righteousness and many Minimomo is Susanoo takedown? Oh, we're doing this? Okay. That's maybe the most anime thing Ace Attorney has ever done. That was a Susanoo takedown, wasn't it? Not quite. That was a Yutaro takedown, of course. I mean, we just like assaulted someone in court. The instant the first drop of the reagent touched the nib of the fountain pen, it was clear to everyone present. Oh, he's so sad. But I saw it there in the lab. The poison. The devil got hold of me and said to do it on a whim. Excused myself and emptied all the ink down the sink in the bathroom, washing the reservoir out carefully. Then you waited for an opportunity to suck up some of the poison, didn't you? Into your fountain pen. Yes, that's right. Answer me one thing, Minimomo-san. Why did you steal it? For what purpose? Isn't it obvious? Find out what it was made of and expose it in an article. I mean, it's a secret project after all. Too juicy for a journal like me to pass up. Then, why did the Englishwoman end up dead? Went into that hut intending to quiz her on her situation, that's all. As a reporter. Known killer, showing full freedom, evading justice by leaving the country. Told her what I thought about it. And she just laughed in my face. Oh, what's this? A Far Eastern caveman purporting to practice journalism. Why was she there then, on the beach? Was it really just like, oh hey, I'd like a nice beach vacation before I leave? Like, in my head, she's like a 300 IQ mastermind who does nothing for fun. So... Really, you must learn the difference between reporting and listening at doorways, you ignorant plebeian. What did you call me? This country, with its pretensions to a justice system, to a free press, it's really very depressing. How did he sneak it in right in front of her eyes? You see our superior ways in the West, and you lack the mental capacity to emulate them. Get out of here, you oaf. Get out and crawl back into the cave you came from. That's what I remembered. Or the deadly poison I happened to have in my pen at the time. What a terrible tale. In my head, I knew I should just get out of there as quickly as possible, but I couldn't. I couldn't let her get away with what she'd done, when she clearly had no remorse at all. I suppose Here's my journal spirit. Getting all fired up. How does he do that with his neck? I'd like to ask you something. Yes? You often talk about justice. But surely as a journalist, you could have used other means to deliver the justice you sought. No justice in the press. Sorry? After that trial 9 months ago, kept digging and digging to find out what happened in that courtroom. Finally, discovered the truth. It was a cover-up! That's what it was. A cover-up? We're gonna lure? What do you mean? Come on, tell us the truth! Remind you of your position, witness. Be careful of what you say. Oh, come on! Doesn't it strike you as strange? We're suddenly not allowed to convict a foreign national? Consular jurisdiction should never have come into it. Yet that puffed-up Englishwoman is going to sail away into the sunset a free woman. Only possible explanation is, behind the scenes, some deal had gone down between Britain and Japan. What sort of deal? Done my research, dug up all the dirt. It's all ready to be published. You know what happened? The editor just tore up the article up. Came under pressure from the government, you mean? Our government is going to let criminals walk free, so they're going to crush the free press. What choice do I have but to see that justice is done myself? Don't forget, Memo-san, that you committed murder yourself. Could have laid the blame of the defendant's story. Yeah, I was kind of thinking that. Sorry, but you're no better than Giselle Brett. What? I mean, he's a little better than her. Like, I mean, Giselle Brett killed who's, you know, presumably, you know, a innocent person. We don't know a lot about Wilson, but still. Well, like, you know, he killed a very guilty person and just tried to lay it on an innocent person. See, that's like a little better than Giselle Brett. Truth is, you have no right to talk about justice at all. Yeah, that's fair. I suppose. It appears that we have reached a conclusion in this trial at last. Counsel for the defense, Yutaru Naruhodo. Oh! Ah, yes! Sorry, Your Excellency. Just musing in a manly way here. Do what men do, haha. It's almost believable this is your first experience of the Supreme Court. It was an excellent performance. In truth, very much reminded me of your cousin's exploits. Oh, Naruhodo's, I mean, Yunosuke, you mean? The way you handled the trial 9 months ago, the way you handled this one, gives me hope that we're genuinely entering a new era of justice in this land. That's very flattering, Your Excellency. Hearing the defense you put forward today made me feel most keenly that the future of our justice system will be forged by you and your contemporaries. Thank you. So, Prosecutor Ouchie, do you have any final thoughts? Is he gonna cut his hair off? What? Prosecutor Ouchie? I, Takatsuchi of the Ouchie clan, been bested by a Kello youth not once now, but twice. If there was any shred of my former self left, it's withered and died here today. So what's with the birdhouse thing? Gosh, your journey to culture enlightenment sure took a while, didn't it? Silence! Rather than living on in shame, I will end it all now with this blade. For this is the true path to Ouchieism. Ouchieism? One hopes that's the only way in which he'll be modeling himself after the witness. Don't play the music. Spring of my top notch. The time is right for farewell. Hope is lost forever. Takatsuchi. Is that a haiku? Like butter. Oh, there we go. Okay. That's amazing. She's praying for him. Even Hosonaga, they did not have to go this hard for it, but they did. Now, in regard to the defendant, Raymond Mani-san. Yes, Your Excellency? I've reached my final verdict. I hereby find you not guilty. Woo! Yay! Cherry blossoms! Okay, little post-court segment. Oh, okay. Still in court. Court is adjourned! You're gonna tell us how cool we are? 13th of August, 2:38 p.m. What did that take, like 5 hours? It's over. My heart is still pounding in my chest though. It's all I can do to just stay standing. Lawyers have such great responsibility, such a great burden to bear. Don't they, Naruhodo-san? Susanoo! Susanoo! Thank you so much. You were so dashing in there. Hey, father. Honestly, I'm so touched by everything you... Oh no, I think I'm gonna cry. Wasn't easy, but together we made it. I was on the verge of tears at the end too. Only reason I'm still here is because of you. Oh no, can't take all the credit. Took courage to tell the truth in there. You did wonderfully, right? So I would have to say that the congratulations belongs to you. Susanoo, don't be so standoffish. Sorry? We're friends, equals. The trial's over, so no more of this formal, super humility nonsense. Time to celebrate with swagger, to throw caution to the wind. Caution to the... what? The great defense lawyer, Yutaro Naruhodo. Taking you out to a milk bar tomorrow, not the milk bar. Or something. Right. See. I'll, think about it, right? At any rate, we really knocked the wind out of that horrid man. Felt so good. Yes, it was satisfying to assault someone in the middle of the courtroom and no one batted an eye. Really was. Isn't there anybody else we could throw together? Hope you're not looking at me, Ray. Oh, my goodness! No, of course not. Of course not. There it is at last. Ray's lovely smile. I want to protect that smile. You fought for your friend to the very last. Your father, I'm extremely proud of you. Defense attorney, Yutaro Naruhodo. Thank you. Couldn't have done it without your help. Anyway, time to bid farewell to Yutaro, I think. Don't miss him in a way, but back to Susanoo Mikotoba now. No, I'll never see him again then. What a terrible shame. What? Who is this? Oh, hey. What is happening? Sasaki-san and Inspector Hosonaga. So, like, if they found out now, would the whole trial be nullified, or? Do hope you've been keeping well, or would they just punish Susanoo? Is that really you? Yes, I had to change my appearance for you. Obviously. Wait, she didn't, like, take the disguise off in the middle of the lobby, right? Well, for obvious reasons, I hope. But it's me, Susanoo Mikotoba. I don't... So dashing, so divine! No! Doubly dashing! Yes! Devilishly divine! DDDD, just look at you! I had no idea, Miss Susanoo-san Esquires, that you're Locum student Naruhodo-san's Esquire's cousin! Astonishingly astounding Ace Attorney! AAAA, that's the name of the new game. Poor Soseki-san, so confused. Don't remember the first time I ever met him. Yes, I remember that. In the prison cell in London. What an extraordinary conundrum was that the unwitting student from Japan found himself embroiled in. After Naruhodo-san's skillful defense of the Old Bailey, Saseki-san was free to return to Japan. Now he seems to have earned himself a great fame as an author. I'm stunned! It's a truly impressive disguise. Even I had no idea. Chief Inspector of the Police Bureau. Comes with Mr. Turtle, no less. Not sure you should be admitting to that, Inspector. Amazing. You're a woman of many faces, I see. Just two, really? It was a once-in-a-lifetime event, I hope. I'm not a patch on you, though, Inspector. Well, I'm a professional, of course. Okay, these two have got to be relevant in a future case. Like, Hosonaga makes sense, but Natsume's a little weird. But them giving like a little, oh yeah, this is who they are, by the way. They wouldn't do that if they weren't important later on, right? That's why they brought him back for the first case, to reintroduce you to them. Or introduce you if you didn't play the first game. 9 months ago, when he appeared here at the Supreme Court, he was undercover, disguised as the head waiter. Then he got beaten up by the captain. Yep. So that didn't help you today, Kazuma-sama. He's fine! He's still alive! From my perspective, I have to admit that I have mixed feelings about all this. Although, Hosonaga would have to know, right? Right? I mean, now that the truth has been lost forever. What do you mean? Talking about the murder that the English woman committed at the end of last year. Okay, we're gonna talk about this. Oh yes, it was an English doctor she killed, as I understand it. Dr. John H. Wilson, yes. The man I invited to Japan personally. The mystery is, why did she kill him? Now that the culprit herself is dead, we'll probably never know the answer. On the voyage to Great Britain, we had a most unexpected encounter with Mr. Herlock Sholmes, the great detective, I mean. Yes, I remember Mr. Sholmes well, of course. Ah, my arch nemesis! How lightly you utter his name. What? Did he not like Sholmes? According to this, oh, because they're, well, he's not an author, but he's kind of, you know, he's involved with books. According to the stories published about him in the Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, the detective once had a partner who helped him solve crimes, a best friend. That man was an exceptional doctor in medicine by the name of John H. Wilson. What? Dr. Wilson? Just can't believe that it's a coincidence. Saying that the English doctor in medicine killed here in Japan 9 months ago must have been a friend and partner, Mr. Sholmes. If that's really true, then the poor girl won't ever see her beloved father again. As you know, traveled to Great Britain once myself to study, around the time you were born. Yes, grandmother told me about it. Returning to Japan, took up my professorship at the Imperial Yume University. Also serve another role, as an advisor to the government on diplomatic affairs. That's like totally main antagonist, like, title, right? Like, that is... Yes, I was aware of that as well. In that case, I'm sure you'll understand that there are some confidential matters I cannot divulge to you. He's definitely going to be relevant in the final case. I don't know if he's evil or not, but, you know, obviously he's plot relevant. Could you just tell me one thing? Why did you summon me back to Japan? It's been 2 months now since I returned. When I left England, it was because of an urgent telegram that arrived from Japan. That you'd collapsed with a high fever, you're growing weaker by the day. What? Where did that news come from? That's what I'd like to know. Because after that long sea voyage, I found you in fine health, Father. Was there something in Great Britain that you perceive might inconvenience me in some way? Or harm me? That's really the only explanation I can think of. Dear me. You reserve your most cutting glares for your father, Susato. I'm sorry, my dear. Simply can't. Ah, let me go! Oh, hey. Oh, is it gonna tell us what he dug up? Tell us, tell us! But, Memi Momo-san. What do you, no, let him talk. Got one last thing to say before they take me away. Professor. Me? Know the truth. Know you had a hand in what went on. That visiting student's fate. Visiting student? Giselle Brett, you mean? No, not her! The student of law who left for Great Britain 8 months ago. Kazuma? What? Student of law? He must mean Kazuma-sama. What are you talking about? What does any of this have to do with Kazuma-sama? Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it. They don't know that the guy never made it to England, that he died on that steamship, that he'll never... Ah! Oh, oh, Judge! Well, didn't expect to find him in here. The judge take down? What were you officers playing at? Terribly sorry, Your Excellency. Okay, so, I mean, that really does confirm it, that... But no, they wouldn't make Mikotoba the main antagonist if they, you know, made it that obvious in the case 1. Seeing the judge not at the chair is weird. It's coming to tell you that the rickshaws arrived, Eugene. A good job, and it's a good job I came by. Yes, thank you for dealing with them. I'll be there shortly. Oh, Your Excellency? Ha 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 ha! Trial's over. Not Your Excellency anymore. Merely your father's friend, Seishiro Jikoku. He has a name? Jikoku means hell, doesn't it? Is there a pun in there? May I say that since I saw you last, seemed to have taken on— he knew the whole time? Taken on a more dashing appearance. Susato. Did you know all along? From the start of the trial? Ha 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 ha! A judge sees everything, Susato. Couldn't let you take the risk. Seishiro here hadn't known and then he'd recognized you. So I had a word in his ear beforehand. Corruption! As an old friend. They're corrupting to not be sexist? Is that a good thing? Seishiro, shall we? Yes. Having ruled on that case, we now have various diplomatic issues to address. But before you go, Father. Sorry, my dear. We'll have to return to our earlier conversation on a later date. Well done again, both of you. You did admirably. Oh, thank you very much. What do you think of my Seishiro sling, eh? It's been a while since I sent him in flying like that. Of course there's a name for it. Ha 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 ha. Is the judge in on it too, then? Whatever could Father be hiding from me? About Giselle Brent, about Dr. Wilson. Now it seems, according to the reporter, about Kazuma-sama. Gonna have to bring this up with Father sometime, when nobody else is around. Alright. Judicial Assistant Mikotoba Esquires, could I have a word? Oh, yes, of course, Sasaki-san. What is it? I think perhaps it could be fate. Oh, it's not fate or in order, but I usually say that every time I hear the word fate. That we're meeting again like this now. You see? There's something I need to tell you. Oh? I believe that it may be related for the reason why your father summoned you back from England. Yep, this is what I have to hear. Please, Sasaki-san, tell me at once. I will! I will! I will! I will! Don't wait for the next case to tell me. Do it now. Or not even next case, like the 4th case when we get back to Japan. Maybe. As you know, my time in England was terrible. Cursed, I have no doubt. Such awful things I was embroiled in. Thank goodness the locum student Naruhodo-san Esquire stepped in. After he secured my freedom, I couldn't wait to get on a ship back here from my homeland. Having arrived in Japan, submitted a report about my experiences to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Next thing I knew, I had a visitor. It was your father, Professor Mikotoba, who wanted to ask me all sorts of things about my report. My father? He seemed to be especially taken with a particular part of the report. Herlock Sholmes? Anyway, he eventually left, having thoroughly quizzed me. But it was the very next day that he sent the telegram to you asking you to return to Japan. What was it then? The particular part my father was interested in. I don't really know exactly. But do you remember those 2 terrible cases? Wait, 2? I was caught up in? Of course, I can never forget. Are you remember he mentioned the poison. Is there gonna be like a flashback case of the Soseki getting... I can never forget. Father seemed to concern himself mainly with the second case. Here we go. The second one? You mean one Mr. Sholmes forbade any of us to talk about in public? Of course. That's why it wasn't in the first game. Which is why the only case involving you that any member of the public is aware of is the first. Well, I don't care. I don't have to listen to what that dastardly detective says. Anyway, the point is, seems that case somehow holds the key to all these curious unanswered questions. That case better be next. That horrific, hideous, heinous case. Case of the haunted lodgings. Better not be case 4. Okay, I did see a slight spoiler, like a very small one on the wiki. Because I was trying to get the logo for the thumbnail. Okay, so I went to the main wiki page. I did see when going through the table of contents, chapter 4 and chapter 5 have the same cast of characters. So they're like connected cases. That's really nothing, right? But thought I should divulge that. The haunted lodgings. Oh, are we gonna see those 2 people? I forget. I don't remember their names. I think one of them had a big chin. A case somehow caused my father, and one of them like Shakespeare, caused my father to summon me urgently back to Japan. While that whole business was over. Seems I was wrong. Perhaps that was only the start. Perhaps the story is not yet told. And oh no, tree. So is that Giselle's grave or?
The mystery of that English woman's death is solved, thank goodness. And having stood in the Supreme Court now, I think I can comprehend a little better. How you must be feeling as you fight for people's freedom in a foreign land, Naruhodo-san. But actually, I'm writing to you today because of another matter.
Yeah?
I met Soseki-san and we talked about that second...
Okay, Naruhodo's gonna get the lore, no.
Father has said nothing to me, but I feel certain of it. That case holds the key to some great unsolved mystery. My notes on the case should still be in the office, tucked away at the back of the shelves on the left. Perhaps you might like to look over them again.
Okay, flashback case.
Today, for the first time this year, it feels as though summer has arrived. The sky is a brilliant blue. It makes me long to see you again. Yours, Susato.
Alright. End of case 1. Come on, give me the Steam achievement. End. Give me the dopamine. Save your progress. Oh wow, guy, I just got a text message. My credit card was just used to spend $400 on your Apple ID is used for auto debit. $400 on iTunes Store. Ensure safety. We hold payment for approval. Contact support at this phone now. I gotta call this, guys. That's, oh my god, $400. They didn't even capitalize the T in iTunes. Nice try, suckers. Okay, that was honestly, I think that was one of the best tutorial cases in the series. Maybe even the best. Oh no, that's 3-1 or 4-1. Probably 4-1, right? Like that's a really good case. But like this case was it a little too simple? Yeah, sure. But it's a starting case. Like could it have been a little shorter? Yes, but like not nearly to the degree that like the first game had. Like the first game's starting case just went on and on. It's very long. I mean, really, that's the problem with the whole game, right? This one, pretty concise. I liked it. Obviously, you know, you still got the Giselle Brett stuff to worry about. Like, there's definitely not too many loose threads with her for not to be brought up again, right? But I like how they use this to kind of segue into like the main plot with the Japanese and British governments. It's got to be brought up in like the 4th or 5th case. Susato as a protagonist was I actually really like playing as her. I wonder if we'll get to again. Like, I doubt it, but maybe. Like, trying to think of. So case 2 is going to be a flashback. Case 3 will probably be Naruhodo alone in Britain. Like, if case 4 and 5 are connected, it's probably when Susato shows up, and I assume she'll come back to Britain, or Naruhodo comes to Japan. Maybe like I don't know how they do that. It's like they have to tie up both the British and the Japanese plots, right? So maybe you play as Naruhodo in Britain and Susato in Japan to like fight the corruption at the same time or something. I don't know. It'll be fun to see though. I did like Many Momo as an antagonist. I like how they kind of use him as like a historical characterization. Like you know, he's complaining about, you know, the English just kind of coming in waving power around, which is like literally what, you know, what happened in Japan and like, you know, 1850 Meiji Restoration stuff. That's a cool touch. Anyway, I'll be back. Oh wait, one thing. Right. So I didn't start uploading Ace Attorney. I just uploaded episode 3 today actually, and like it. Again, this isn't like end of the world or anything. The views haven't been good. I am kind of wondering if I should like split it up case by case. So like do case 1, take like a week or 2 break, then do case 2. I wonder if that will like help at all. Like, I'm gonna do this the series either way, right? Like I got the ego boost of the century. Like I think a couple months ago, I got a comment saying if there are no HorseyEatYou fans, I am dead. And that was like, wow, that's the ego boost of the century. So like nothing can stop me now. I am invincible. You know who you are if you left that comment. You don't know what you've unleashed on the world. Anyways, I will see you guys next time for case 2. That will be after I finish with Fate Grand Order. So I have like I think like 10 videos left of that. So I expect more of this in like mid-April. I'll see you guys then. Bye.